All right. Good morning, Sean. It's great to be back. It's been too long. It's been a month since our last episode together, and I've really felt like there's so much going on. I remember telling you next time we talk, there's going to be all-time highs, and we've had that. But anyways, welcome back. It's good to have you on the show again.
Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that it's been a month and a lot has happened. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Solano, Cardano, they all hit all-time highs, right? And I mean, crazy to be saying this as well, but we are close to a $3 trillion market cap. I mean, $2.75 trillion as it stands right now. Wow.
So exactly that. So like I just told you a minute ago, we're going to play a bit of a game today. And that game is going to involve you interpreting some graphs for us. So I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
And you walked right into it because it's exactly what I wanted to chat about. And as you can see on the screen, you can see the total crypto market cap. And this is the 1-year chart. So you just want to, tell people what we are looking at here.
You're also speaking to the guy that's sort of like anti-charts and anti-technical analysis, more generally speaking. So I actually, once upon a time, and I think people can appreciate this. So once upon a time, I was sort of making a mockery of technical analysis, more generally speaking. And I'm not to say that there's not support levels and resistance levels and all these different things. But I mean, at the end of the day, like no one really knows what's going to happen in the future. And I feel like a lot of people get this fake sense of security around arbitrary levels, right? So I think what we're looking at here is a graph that has grown a lot from the bottom left and gone up to the top right in a diagonal fashion. And as you'll see, since, what is that, the start of 2021, you've seen the market cap go up more than 250%. Now that is insane, right? I mean, that there's a lot of growth in the market. And if you look at sort of the composition of the market, more generally speaking, you've had a far greater outperformance of the altcoins relative to Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, has lost about 20% of its dominance since the start of 2021. And I stand to be corrected. It could be a little bit less than that.
So you're destroying my game here.
Okay, well, there you go.
There you go. So yeah, you want to tap. So you can see here in the graph, it's at 40%, 43% at the moment. So the blue line is the Bitcoin. And then you've got all the other coins at the bottom. So yeah, just kind of what I wanted to kind of get to was the point that the market is maturing, things are changing, and not everything is all about Bitcoin. And it's kind of, you can see it in some of these graphs. So not looking at giving a technical analysis, but just to kind of look at what is happening in the market and how things are kind of changing, how the shift is happening. Because we've spoken about how NFTs have come online, and like you can see, so the green line is other cryptos that are coming in, and you can also see how that's grown over the last year. Ethereum's also kind of ticking up. So that's kind of just the crux I wanted to get to was, there's this market cap that's growing, and there's this movement kind of going to say, listen, there's Solana and there's all these other cryptos that are coming on board that is actually taking away from the dominance that we just know as Bitcoin.
There is. It's a trend that's been happening, and it's not just a trend that's happening over the last 12 months. This is a trend that's been happening since Ethereum launched, really, right? And sure, there's been ups and downs along the way, but that trend that you're seeing with Bitcoin's dominance declining and the percentage of the total market that is made up of Bitcoin that is declining, right? That's a long-term trend. I think if you think about the number of different projects in the space, I mean, it seems a bit odd that you would have one project being Bitcoin that does make up such a significant portion of this entire market. I mean, most markets sort of do have competitive forces that land up making other projects become more competitive over time. Like some projects like Ethereum recently has become a victim of its own success, which means that it becomes slightly less efficient, which gives the likes of Solana, Cardano, etc., the opportunity to increase in value and garner DeFi adoption and all the rest, which is exactly what's happened. And the likes of Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin is good if you're looking at it from a store of value perspective. I mean, that does what it says it does. But if you're looking at it from a, say, digital money perspective, I mean, there's other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash SV. I know that there'll be some Bitcoin bulls that hate me for saying that, but those versions of Bitcoin are better at doing that. And they are then growing in market cap in that particular niche. So, I mean, this is going to continue to happen, I think, over time. Something else that I must just mention, when you're looking at this sort of a graph, it's interesting to think about one crypto versus another cryptocurrency. And people take comfort because that's what they see on all these different platforms. But the real true sort of trading view that you need to be taking when you're looking at the crypto market more generally is you need to be lumping together risky assets. So you need to say, okay, right, these are speculative investments that can increase in value 10, 20, 30x over the next 10 years. What other investments can potentially do that? And all of a sudden you start including, it's crazy to think as well, Tesla's now $1 trillion business as well, but you start including the likes of Tesla, you start including other speculative opportunities. Facebook's now gone into the Metaverse. Some interesting news of the week is that Nike has patented their Meta logo. So you can essentially, what they're looking at doing really, this is the crux, I think, of what Nike's aiming to do, is that you can purchase Nike gear in game, and you can purchase not fake Nike shoes, digital, God, I can't believe I just said that, digital Nike shoes online. And if you do happen to buy any fake Nikes, and you don't happen to get this digital token or certificate of ownership with them, you should be saying, well, are these real actually? And that's then the crux that goes with it as well. Yeah.
No, Sean, you're really stealing my whole theme that I wanted to talk to you today. You kind of nailed it already. Everything I wanted to bring up. But I just wanted to kind of show two things here. So on the podcast, we've mentioned many a time about zooming out. And I just wanted to kind of show on this dominance chart. So dominance chart showing Bitcoin in the total market cap, crypto market cap, how much of the money is sitting in Bitcoin versus other cryptos. So that's the 1 year, and you can see over the 5 year how it's kind of dipped. You can see as Ethereum was introduced, the Bitcoin kind of came down, and then the market's kind of matured, and now it's coming. We're seeing a trend where people are moving into altcoins again. But actually, just to finish off on the market cap, and I wanted to show, this is another reason why I like zooming out, is if you look at the 5 year chart of the crypto, market cap over 5 years, how it's doubled in the last year, and you can see where it was in 2017 and where it is today. And it's just this influx of, there's a lot of conversations around how, I just want to stop sharing, but how the adoption of cryptocurrencies is the fastest adopted technology in all time history. The amount of people that are diving into the crypto space we've never seen this kind of adoption in any technology before. And you can see it in that last graph that I showed.
Yeah, that's exciting. This is an industry, I think this is why you've had such a big brain drain from other industries, whether it's the sciences, statistics, maths, finance, definitely. I've had loads of friends in the finance world that have been pulled up into the crypto space. It's just a weird, sort of fascinating area. Like you know that something will emerge out of the space that has a lot of value just because of the number of really smart people working on interesting projects in the space. And most of the projects are so incredibly ambitious that they almost seem too far-fetched to ever be part of reality. And I imagine that some of the greatest creations of all time came from exactly that perspective and that approach. So yeah, I think there's a lot coming in the space. I think the way that we know the world working is going to drastically change. I know a lot of people sort of talk about the strip, where it's like, okay, now, one day you see Bitcoin appear as a checkout option, then the next day you see something else occur. I think this is going to happen actually a lot faster than what a lot of people are anticipating. In the space of 1 or 2 years, you could potentially be seeing banks offering cryptocurrency custody services in South Africa. And this is also just from discussions that I'm having at the moment, which is such a U-turn from where we were 12 months ago as well.
Exactly. It's like a tsunami that you can't stop. It's coming towards us. And the scary thing is, so another big thing that happened in this last month, we don't have to dive into it, but is the ETF that came out, right? And, I was thinking to myself when that happened was, when I ask my friends and I speak kind of like poke out, I even got made fun at my wedding because of Bitcoin. But the fact is that there's a lot of people that aren't into it yet, that aren't paying attention yet, that don't own anything yet. And it's like crazy. So obviously the ETFs coming on board brings in more adoption, more people are exposed to it. But there is still a long, long way to go. We are still very early in this. And there's these massive things. So we're talking about, you mentioned Nike. I didn't know about that one, but Facebook changing, like everyone's like, oh, Facebook and our metaverse, but they don't actually understand why they're making that move. And maybe you want to just touch into that and why Facebook have decided to rebrand, or just kind of why everyone's talking about metaverses at the moment.
yeah, I mean, this is really excited and passionate about. If you think about DeFi and we rewind, I'm going to go 12 months, you had less than $5 billion locked in the DeFi ecosystem. And I remember going on a podcast talking about DeFi, and it was just this like, oh, shut up, dude. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I remember saying, and it was sort of one of those things where I was like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. But I remember saying that this is the most exciting thing I've seen in the last 5 years. It's more exciting than the first moment I actually stepped into the crypto space. And why? Because all of a sudden it was like, wow, crypto meets real world adoption, and you're actually seeing projects that have utility. I'm using a lot of these projects right now to earn yield in crypto, to be able to sort of interact in a decentralized way, whether it be through like the likes of Uniswap or any other platform that exists out there. Anyway, I digress. But looking at sort of the metaverse right now and all the opportunities that are going to emerge from that, that's got me even more excited than the DeFi space. And the reason that Facebook is pivoting into this is because it's not a hidden secret that people spend an incredible amount of money in video games right now, buying skins for their guns, buying virtual goods is becoming something that's increasing over time. You're having concerts within virtual reality right now, where you're able to attend a Travis Scott concert through, I forget the game, but you're actually able to do it. Yeah, if you can remember the game,
damn it.
That'll be great.
Man, yes, that game everyone plays.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is that there's so much happening in the space, and the adoption rate is really high. And when you adopt this new way of sort of doing things, all of a sudden it becomes like, okay, well, what else can I do in the space? And buying brands and sort of showcasing, in real life, people buy watches, they buy cars, they buy fancy things to look wealthy and to have status. And it's just a natural progression as well for people to want to do that in the metaverse. And you also have then the psychological elements of this as well, which is to say, okay, right, you can create your own character, or you can create your own voice in the metaverse as well. So there's all these other things which people never thought about, which are now sort of emerging. And Facebook want to be the platform that enables that, which is quite fascinating. And you start thinking about, okay, right, Facebook is launching DM, a cryptocurrency. They have a marketplace.
Yes.
They have the biggest social media platforms in the world. It's like you're so well suited to be able to take full control of this new reality that's emerging. It's literally a new reality.
Exactly.
And that's just sort of, I think, what they've done. And a lot of investors are quite excited about it.
I think it's changing. So one thing just to touch, Facebook, WhatsApp went down and the world went like, what do we do? It was crazy just to show. And so the concept that I've been reading up and researching and starting to understand about the metaverse is, so we talk about decentralization in cryptos, right? Then you start realizing that means no borders. Then you think about the Facebooks, the, Googles, the Amazons of the world. There's no border there. They're across the world. So technically they're also in this kind of decentralized thing because they're not confined by a border. All right. And so I think I was listening to a podcast or something. They were talking about how you've got the Facebook metaverse. Let's say you don't like that metaverse, that country, that kind of borderless metaverse. And you say, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to move to the Amazon one. And inside there, you have a metaverse, and you can then create your currencies and spend, your money. You could buy virtual Cokes. You could do all sorts of stuff. It's actually insane what's happening. And it's happening so bloody quickly, because a month ago, we weren't talking about a metaverse. Now it's on everyone's lips. And it's just insane how quickly this is moving in that direction. Super exciting.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we could talk about this for a good hour at least. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to do in this space, so much to talk about. We're gonna have to leave that, I suppose, for another conversation.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Is there anything from your side at Revix that's any exciting projects that are coming out to see the year out?
We are working day in, day and day out, as you can hear by the way I'm speaking, to get our mobile app out. So we're hoping to launch that fairly soon. That's sort of where all of our attention is focused at the moment. And then we'll have some interesting projects early next year with a metaverse bundle being in the mix.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's great. That's great. Well, you really need to be on top of things in this industry. But Sean, we'll ... and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for joining, coming back. And I look forward to picking up the pieces and seeing out the year and see how things pan out in the crypto space.
Brilliant. Thanks
Cool.
very much, Bobby. Cool.
Cool.
Have a good
See you
rest of
next
the week.
week.